Hey guys, welcome to a new video from NZ Pocket Guide. Today we're going to do something a little bit different and we're going to check out some of our favorite photos we've ever taken. They are going to be photos from pretty much all the places that we've visited before, so Tonga, Niue, Fiji and obviously New Zealand. So without further ado, let's get started because we have a few photos to go through and a lot of them come with a fun story.
Alright, starting with our first beautiful whale photo. This one was taken in Tonga, which is a beautiful island nation where one of the famous things to do there is swimming with humpback whales.
I love swimming with whales.
It was an absolutely magical experience, probably one of the best things we've ever done. But instead of the photos coming from underwater, where we did get some really cool shots underwater of the whales, but one of my favorites was actually above the surface when, as we were taking a boat to go back to shore, a huge humpback whale was traveling alongside our boat and jumping out of the water every few meters or so. As you can see on the photo, there's a trail behind where it actually had jumped out of the water previously, and it just kept doing this, kept doing all these, like trying to do all these acrobatics, even though it's absolutely a huge creature.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was absolutely amazing to just really get some cool sort of action shots of the whale jumping out of the water for the whole time we were on the way back towards the shore. So yeah.
And we do have a full travel guide for Tonga called tongapocketguide.com. You can check it out if you too want to plan a trip going to swim with amazing humpback whales. Moving on to the next photo, I think it's from Tonga as well, isn't it?
This one is also from Tonga, and this is from the island group of Vavau. And one of the really awesome activities that you can do when you're taking a boat trip around the islands is going to Swallow's Cave. So that is the cave that you can see on this photo, but once again, instead of taking photos of what the main event is, which is actually under the water in the cave, you see these huge schools of fish where you can sort of dive down and see some really cool and intricate patterns that the fish are making in the water. Well, instead, we really love this photo from the drone taken from above, where we can see all these different layers of the island. So you have the beautiful rocky cliffs with all the caves sort of etched in the side, and then you can see the cliffs underneath the water as well, where as we were swimming there, we saw lots of fish on our way into the caves. But yeah, and the water is absolutely clear, crystal clear, beautiful.
You tend to like really clear waters, don't you?
I do. I have been known for liking clear water.
Moving on to the next photo, it is also from the island and it also features incredibly clear waters.
It does indeed, but this is actually from a different island nation. This is from the country of Niue, where we also have a dedicated travel guide especially for Niue called nuepocketguide.com. And what that is famous for, the island, is that it is the world's largest coral atoll. So naturally, it's full of limestone, and this creates some really amazing caves, and especially sea caves, which you can see right here. We found a really awesome one called Avaiki Cave. And yeah, we got this, although it's a bit of a cheesy selfie shot, we did really love the fact that we could get most of the cave of it behind us, and swimming
that's one of the advantages of the GoPro. You get the whole cave.
Absolutely.
It's overexposed to hell because
Yeah.
it's a GoPro shot, but it gives you the whole picture, which is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And also in the water behind us, it was super refreshing to swim in. You could see lots of fish as well, and lots of corals. So it's just yet another amazing place in Niue.
All right, so are we still in the islands with that shot, or are we back into New Zealand?
This one is in New Zealand.
It's still an island, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, the South Island, it's still an island, but I guess it's a huge island, basically. So this is actually shot at Farewell Spit, which is at the top of the South Island, and the only way to actually get to the far end of Farewell Spit is to go with an eco tour, because it is one of the most protected areas of New Zealand. So we did get the privilege of going there, and because you can only access it during specific tide times, we had to go during the low tide, which was super early in the morning, but that was just the right time to get this really cool shot, one of my favorite shots from New Zealand, although it doesn't really really show anything about the majestic New Zealand scenery or anything. It's just the colours were super cool. Managing to get the reflection of us, of our silhouette in the sand as the tide's going out. I just found that was just a clear display of being at the right place at the right time.
All right, moving on to this next shot. So definitely we're not in the tropics anymore on this one.
Definitely not. This is, inside of the Fox Glacier. So we were really lucky enough when we went to do the Fox Glacier, when we went during our trip on New Zealand's biggest gap year, which, by the way, guys, you can check it out, the whole year of us doing an activity every single day on YouTube. But yeah, when we headed to Fox Glacier, there was loads of caves the day that we went, and we had loads of really cool cave shots, but this one I really like in particular because first of all we managed to both get on the picture, and second of all we just look like we're doing some sort of hardcore expedition work over here.
Wait. I look like I'm doing something hardcore right here. You just literally hanging on with just two fingers, unless you are super strong.
Well, I am, but so I just felt like the action shots were just really, really fun for this one, and this one has made it onto a blow-up canvas, which is now displayed in our bathroom. So yeah, that's one from the Fox Glacier.
All right, this is still on the south end. You do have a preference. It really looks like you do have a preference.
Yes, I may be a bit biased there, but yeah.
Okay, so southern end of New Zealand. Where is that?
This is the Nelson Lakes National Park at Lake Rotoiti, which this is by no means an original photo. Loads of people, because it's such an easy sort of pit stop to do as you're traveling down towards the west coast of the South Island. This shot of the jetty and the beautiful mountains behind has been taken a million times. But we just thought, like, well, first of all, I was pretty impressed that day at how high we could jump. Like, I don't think I've been able to ever jump that high since. But so just having such a fun photo, which again, not super original, but just really fun to do, and I really love the actions that we're doing. But while we were doing those shots, there were people sort of, behind the camera, sort of, who I thought were judging us. I thought they were like, look at these guys, they're going a little bit too hardcore tourists here. But but then as we were leaving, we did notice there was a whole lineup of people then trying to do exactly the same shot and doing.
So they were judging us, but then after that they were trying to copy us as soon as we left.
So yeah, I mean, I felt like we set a trend that day, which we were pretty happy about, by those small group of people that were just behind us. So.
But by no means we did not invent the jump from the jetty shot.
No, absolutely not.
All right, so the next shot that we have is back in the island. It's in Niue.
Back in the islands, yeah. So I know this is a shot that actually Robin really loves, so you can talk more about that.
Yeah, so that's a shot that we took in the small island of Niue. You can learn more about Niue on niuepocketguide.com. And so I had to shoot a drone for this one, and I just love it because, well, first, all the stuff that we're doing on the photo doesn't make much sense. Laura is clearly just sizzling herself on the metal of the top of a car in the South Pacific Islands. It must have been super hot down there, wasn't it? Like,
it was a bit warm, but you got to do what you got to do for the photos, and I'm glad that the car was white and not black.
So she had the idea to go up there and do something, because otherwise the car is just a little bit bare. I am just looking at the horizon, holding my remote from the drone down the bottom, and I don't know, either scouting for English invaders or I'm not sure what I'm doing right here. But the whole framing on the photo is really cool. I do love this diagonal line that comes right in the middle. I love all the different shades of green, all the different shades of grey, and obviously all the different shades of blue. It's just a photo that every time I look at it, I just take an extra second to look at it. I'm like, I really do like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's... but it doesn't make sense. But I like it. All right, moving on to the next shot. Oh, really refreshing.
Back in New Zealand. So this is when we're in the Mount Cook National Park, and we did a really unique experience taking a ski plane onto the Tasman Glacier. And you're not really kitted up for, so you can.
Laura is wearing jeans.
I'm wearing like red jeans and just like a really thin sort of jacket. But yeah, it's one of those things where you only go up there for 10 minutes, so you don't actually need to prepare yourself fully. But what I found was a really fun idea was when I put the tripod in the middle of the snow, made sure that our footsteps were very symmetrical on the way to where we were stood, and then we did a sort of fun hands in the air photo, nice and cheesy, but I just really like that photo for the fun and being somewhere that otherwise would be pretty hard to get to unless you have a ski plane.
Obviously.
Obviously.
All right, moving on to the next shot. We're having still a lot of mountains and still South Island of New Zealand. But yeah, we do have the Southern Alps right here in the background.
Yeah, so admittedly, this is not a photo that... Oh, sorry, my voice is going a bit croaky. So admittedly, this is a photo that I didn't take because I'm by no means a skydive photographer. But I did want to include this into the video. I mean, into this video because I always think about this photo when we look back on New Zealand's biggest gap year. It was one of the coolest skydives that we did, where you got to see so much different scenery, because from this angle that you see on the photo, you get to see the Southern Alps, and that is the... you can actually see the Franz Josef Glacier on there and the river leading up to it. And on the other side of that photo that you can't see, you can also see the Tasman Sea. So there was just so much scenery. It was such a cool experience, and the weather was beautiful, and that's always a blessing on the West Coast.
And I have to say, the photographer that day was absolutely phenomenal. He actually was able to communicate with me even during the free fall to tell me what kind of photo he was taking. And since that wasn't my first skydive, it really allowed me to be able to actually listen to what he was doing, turn my head to have like some cool shots. And yeah, it was just amazing teamwork, and I really enjoyed it. I think it was absolutely phenomenal. Are you ready to move on to the next one?
I'm ready to move on, yes.
What's the next one? Oh, look, refreshing again.
Yeah, so now we're back in the islands, this time in the island nation of Fiji.
Check out FijiPocketGuide.com if you want to plan a trip to Fiji.
Yeah, so admittedly, this shot doesn't show much of Fiji, but I feel like it's a really cool it was just a really cool sunset photo where we were staying in a Fijian village, actually staying with within a local house. So that experience of doing a village stay was really authentic, really unique. And after a hot day, one of the locals was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go cool off in a nice place at the beach. Do you want to come join us?" And we were like, "Hells yeah!"
Yeah.
So we went over there, and just as the sun was setting, we were just playing with the GoPro, doing a few shots. And yeah, I just always really like this photo. It's just a nice, relaxing Fiji time, as they say over there in Fiji. And finally,
what?
I don't know if this is the final photo.
This has to be the final. That's the one I didn't approve.
Yeah, so Robin asked me to put a bunch of my favorite photos on a hard drive for him, and I was like, "Can I do an extra bonus photo?" And he said, "Sure." So this is my bonus photo right here. If you can't guess,
I disapprove of all of this.
If you can't guess already, Akaroa in New Zealand, again on the South Island, is the French capital of New Zealand, and they have lots of French-related stuff everywhere. If you couldn't tell already, Robin is French, and I refound this photo actually a couple of years after we did New Zealand's biggest gap year, and made sure to get it handy for an occasion where I could use it, and I'm glad I found that occasion.
I did not approve of that shot, and I did not approve on that day when that shot was to be made. So as you can tell,
you clearly, your face says it all, but you still were cooperative.
Alright guys, so thank you very much for joining us for this kind of revisiting of some of our favorite photos throughout our travel. If you did find this video fun to watch, make sure to tell us in the comments, so maybe we do another one of those that could become a fun series of videos that we enjoy. If you want to reward all our hard work creating travel guides for all of New Zealand and all the South Pacific nations we cover, you may want to hit like and subscribe on the video, and maybe consider joining us on Patreon. There's plenty of fun perks for you to get out of supporting all our hard work. In the meantime, keep on traveling awesome, and thank you so much for taking a bit out of your day to watch a video with us. Bye bye!
See ya!